They portrayed our brother, my mom's son, your grandson, your friend, as a criminal, as if what happened to him was deserved, right? So I thought about this ideal in October, November-ish, and I'm like, well, what could I do to continue to honor his life and legacy? And to me, I was like, what's better than expressing how you feel, what you want to say, than through art? I ran with that thought for a few months, and here it is. It finally happened. And this is the first annual gallery walk. This is something I do plan on doing every year, all right? And not just for my, yeah, give it up for that.
For those of you that don't know my story, Dontre was murdered by Christopher Manning, who was a Milwaukee police officer at one time. And he took upon himself to try to intimidate a man who never bothered anybody. And Dontre's first thing was, I gotta defend myself. My mother and my father brought me up to defend myself when I'm being violated. April 30th, 2014, Dontre's life, his right, his manhood was taken from him. It was stolen from someone who swore to protect and serve us. But instead, he felt fear. You signed up to work for Milwaukee Police Department. Didn't nobody make you fill out an application. You're supposed to own your position, own the oath. Instead, you murdered my child. You shot him 14 times. Broad daylight, Red Arrow Park. Dontre didn't have a savings grace that day, but our police department has one, and it's called systemic racism. When you look like me, when you look like a black man in the United States, that's your saving grace. I've been told for the last 8 years that all they have to do is fear us. And their fear is literally opening up their eyes and looking at our brown melanin skin. And that gives them the right and gives us no accountability for our loved one's life. But today I'm here to pray to all black men, black women, bodies, human bodies that have been taken by people whose salary we pay. Who ask for the jobs and the careers that they have. But they ask us on a daily basis, because every 3 minutes in the United States, a black body is taken. But they still asked us to let them go home to their loved ones, when we will never have the opportunity to see our loved ones, to hug them. So we celebrate their lives. I celebrate that I am still Dr. Hamilton's mother. We come together to hear the stories, but what is most needed by our community right now is these families need your support. They need your support because you're not exempt. And we may have to come to your door. And we're going to show you the same love and give your child or your husband or whomever that person is in your family, we're giving them the same love. And we're going to support you in whichever way you choose to pay homage to his legend. We're walking on the backs of Alvin Cole, Jay Anderson, Dr. Hamilton, and many, many more. I don't have enough time to actually tell y'all all the names. But we have to come together. My doctorate ain't no better than Alvin, or no other person whose life was taken unjust. And we are all unjust until we all are together. It's power in numbers. It's strength in your voices. You don't have to have this particular type of trauma in your life to want to protect our babies. Your son is my son. I would give my last couple of seconds for anybody's child in this building, because they are our future. And we have to teach, and we have to reserve them, and we have to show them that nurturing is good for them. We're not trying to run your life. We're not trying to take anything from you. We just want to be able to protect you and to love and to see you grow and to see your growth turn into power where you're growing in this country. Because systemic racism was made for us not to get ahead. And we're showing them that they're right, because we're constantly fighting in our communities. We close our doors to events that are happening in our communities. We hide, we run. But when it's your time to go, you're going to go. So be steadfast, be loving, be caring, and help somebody less fortunate than you. And hey, my favorite word is, I love y'all. I love y'all.
I love you.
I love y'all.
I love you too.
That's what I'm talking about, power in your voice. Use it. Thank you.
Keep them applause coming. We really should be paying it to our feet. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. There you go.
thank y'all for being here. We're here to support the Alvin Cole family. We have been from the beginning, and I'm not a good talker, so I'm gonna let my wife talk.
For those who don't know, Jay Anderson Jr. was killed June 23rd, 2016. His birthday is on July 4th, and you know how all kids is, they start celebrating a week before their birthdays, and he was, going out having a good time. He was a little intoxicated, and he decided to pull over to the park, Madison Park. The worst day of my life. Joseph Mensah, not even supposed to be in this area at all, pulled up and woke my son up several times. Now remember, he's a little intoxicated, so he kept falling forward. But his hands was up the whole time from the video that we seen, the one that was edited 20 times. But that little video that we seen, his hands was up in the air when this man assassinated my son. There is a court date, April 29th, that's this Friday, at 11 o'clock, Milwaukee, to see if we can prosecute this officer. There's cops out here that has, been on the force for 30 years and never pulled their weapon. This man has pulled his weapon 3 times, killed 3 kids. Every time you turn around, somebody's murdered one of our kids. When is this gonna stop? It has to stop. I can't keep watching this. So hopefully these prosecutors do the right thing and charge Joseph Mensah.
I want to give honor to my husband that can't attend because we worked him to death and he got really tired. But he told me to tell y'all that he loved y'all. And thank you for being here for my family. I would like to bring up the kids that I have left. They already stole one of them, but I still got 4 left. That's my oldest daughter, Tristiana. My baby girl, Talia Cole. I don't see my other 2. And I can't forget my other daughter, Tawanda. Stand up. Stand up. My daughter-in-law, Daddy. Stand up. And I got my mother-in-law here. Let me just stand up. I got family from Texas. Stand up right here. Me and my family was at home. This happened February the 2nd, 2020. I'm getting phone calls telling me, Tracy, you need to check on your son. And I was like, well, he went to the mall. See, I usually text him and say, you all right, son? You all right? And he'd be like, yeah, my mom all right. Quit calling my phone, quit texting me, I'm gonna block you again. So he always blocked me off. But I always get back on. But they were my other son, Florio. Wave your hand. So basically I had got this phone call. So I'm seeing breaking news come on the TV. I think it was around 11 o'clock, something like that, 10 or 11 o'clock. And they said it was a grown man. I said, grown man? That can't be him because he's not grown. So me and my husband was like, well, babe, something ain't right, because my son is not texting me, he's not answering nobody's phone calls. So I'm calling my son to go to Fred Hospital to see if my son was there. They said he was never there. So basically, me, my husband, and my other kids went to the crime scene. Well, we went to Wauwatosa Police Department to see who was the person that got killed. And they wouldn't give me wouldn't tell me anything. So after when they wouldn't tell me anything, they gave me a card and said, we'll call you back in about 15 or 20 minutes. Let's say 2 years later, I never got that phone call. So something told me that, Tracy, go to the crime scene. Went to the crime scene. All I see was Wauwatosa cops. No Milwaukee cops. Nothing but Wauwatosa cops. So how can y'all be at a scene that y'all not supposed to be at and Milwaukee cops supposed to be investigating? Okay? After when all that happened, my heart said, Tracy, go down to the Milwaukee ME. Went to the Milwaukee ME, and I rang the doorbell. It was a whole lot of us. Went down there, family members, friends, cousins. I mean, it was a whole lot of us. We went there. I rang the doorbell because it was after hours. And when I rang the doorbell, I said, I'm looking for my son. His name is Alvin Cole. He's 17. And once the lady said, is you Tracy Cole? And I said, yes, I am. And basically, they told me to come on in. I just dropped to my knees. And I said, Lord, this can't be happening to me. I'm going to be honest, I gave up. I gave up on God. I blame God for what happened to my baby. But I didn't blame the right person that did this to my baby. So, we went up in there. Me and my husband and my kids went up in there. And then the lady was the first person that said, oh, Tracy, my deepest condolences to you. And that was the Milwaukee ME lady. See, I used to be a funeral director, as a apprentice. And I used to go to the Milwaukee ME all the time, picking up babies, picking up kids, picking up 17, 18-year-olds. But this is a hard pill to swallow where you have to identify a child. I never looked at my son's picture, but my husband, he looked at the picture and when he said, oh no, this can't be my baby. And it was our baby. So basically, time going past. Me as a parent, by me being the strong woman that I am, I got my baby dressed for the last time. I put my baby in hats for the last time. Yeah, give me hugs. And the last time my son kissed me was like 2 days ago before he died. And I said, boy, quit kissing me. He said, Mama, you gonna miss these kisses. And I do. Because they was wet and slimy kisses. Because he had those big lips. So basically, I buried my baby. And I told myself it's time to get yourself together. Ever since then, I've been out here protesting. I've been marching. I met my extended family. I met the Gonzalez family, the J. Anderson family, Sedan, I love you. You know, that's my extended son. And so basically, they had said the guy that killed my son, he killed 3 people within 5 years. One cop, a black cop. You know, I'm not a racist, I'm not nothing like that. But this man, he killed 3 people. 3 people of color. You know, and it hurts my heart so bad because this man walks around in the city of Milwaukee like he ain't did nothing. I seen him on Facebook with his gun walking to pick up his stepkids. Who do that? You know, it's enough. Okay, we made some changes by us being out here, pepper spray, tase, and everything. We made things change in Wauwatosa. Right. They had to wear body cameras because of us. Right. We changed those laws. Right. We changed those laws with the police's had to accountability or something like that. And you know, we ain't out here just being out here. We trying to make changes for not just my son's death, but for other kids. You know, that's what we are trying to do. Okay, so I'm trying to fast forward. So we had got the decision from Chisholm. I cussed him out, yes I did. I was gonna go to jail. I was gonna beat him up because he said that he was gonna charge him for my son's murder. But I'm gonna let the record show and let people know that he didn't say that he was justified for killing my son. He said he couldn't make a decision. Right. So people need to quit listening to the media because it's not right. He was the judge. Chisholm said that he couldn't determine a decision because of the video was they had the lights. When Joseph shot my son, he shot my son in the back, and my son was on 6-point stand surrendering. So how 5 cops in front of you did shoot Alvin, but you the last cop to come on the scene and you shot my boy. So I don't see the justice of that. And I heard people was telling me that my son was crying out for his mama because, you know, boys is always mama boys, you know. So after we got the decision, I went out there and basically protest. The U.S. was that the U.S. Army was there, National Guards was there. They put spikes in front of our cars. Wauwatosa police was there too. They grabbed my daughter with a gun to her head. They grabbed my other daughter out the car, my other daughter out her car with me in it. They told me to get out the car, and then they told me to get back in the car. And then I told them, I said, wait a minute, give me time. So I wasn't moving too fast for them. They grabbed me at the time I had dreads in my hair. They pulled me out the car. They beat me in the head with a billy club 5 times. They tased me. They blackened my eye. If I can see the pictures, it's over there on that table. That's me. That's what they did to me. And I got 2 tickets that's pending on me. One is for resisting arrest, and I'm supposed to have hit a cop, but I never went to jail. And I will tell you what's going to happen with that, but y'all see. You know, y'all see. And, I love the Anderson family. I love y'all. That's my family. And I love the Gonzalez family. I love you. And I always say this. My baby was sacrificed to open up the Jay Anderson's case. Because this man would have been still doing, but he resigned, but he wound up going to another police station in Waukesha. He's the sheriff in Waukesha. So and I found out that he had got a Medal of Honor for killing my son. That's the second Medal of Honor he got. He got one for Gonzalez family too, right? And he got one for killing my son. But you know what? I'ma still fight. I'ma still fight. They know me.
How y'all doing out there? All right, I want to start this thing off right. When I say all of us, I want to hear y'all say or none. All of us? All of us? All of us? Shout out to my big brother in the back, man. Shout out to my big brother, Khalid. I love you, big brother. Shout out to Lydia. I said to Lydia, I'm your brother. I'm every bit of your brother. I lost my brother. You lost your brother in the struggle, and the only reason that we are meeting each other today is to become family. The unity that has created is something you cannot, you can't even imagine unless you're the person that can get up every day and go through what we go through and still continue to fight. You really cannot imagine that energy. It's just something it's amazing to be able to have that type of grace on your life. That somebody is in need of you and your services. I'm very, very thankful to be here, even though the circumstances are what they are. I lost my brother Seville Smith in 2016. I lost my brother due to the hands of police brutality, just as well as a lot of the families here. The difference with that is my brother knew the officer. The bigger difference with that is this officer had turned out to be a homosexual. Not only did he turn out to be a homosexual, but he was found guilty of homosexual crimes as well. He was found guilty of raping a male prostitute. He was only sentenced to 3 years. As time goes on, I realized that even though he's out, the work that I do for Seville to keep his name alive is way more important than thinking about what he's able to do with his life. I think that the work that we put in is much needed for our communities. More than anything, it's much needed for our youth. Our youth is our future, and we have to continue to believe in that. When I lost my brother, I didn't know which way I was going to go in my life. As y'all know, things was burning down, and some of that stuff was in my background. I don't really too much remember. But anyways, so a lot of the city was burning down. Everybody was in an uprising and doing their thing, and I had the opportunity to say, I can do something about all of this. I was able to grasp the world's attention with a speech that I had the day that I lost my brother. At the end of that speech, I told them it's not us that's killing us, it's y'all that's killing us. We don't know when it's going to end, but it's for them to stop killing us. Because they're sworn in to do a duty. They're sworn in to protect and serve. They're not sworn in to be the executioner, the judge, and the jury. They don't get to decide who lives and who dies. But they take matters into their own hands. And ever since that's happened, I found purpose in my life. I found Breaking Barriers Mentoring, Inc. I'm the youth chapter president of Breaking Barriers Mentoring, Inc. I'm also the youth chapter president of All of Us or None. And with that, I've been blessed to take this journey. I'm taking 50 youth to Washington, D.C. for Juneteenth, from the ages of 14 to 18. It's all free, all expenses paid. We're gonna leave Wednesday. We'll be back on the 19th for the Juneteenth celebration. If y'all wanna sign up, any youth, reach out to me. And I'm gonna continue to do the work that's gonna keep Seville's name alive in a positive manner. I'm gonna continue to be a vessel. I'm gonna continue to bless you all with my presence, my energy, and the grace that I've been given. I'm going to continue to be humble, and I encourage you all to do the same. You know, we're here because we were called to be here. Whether you realize it or not, the person that we love the most isn't here, and the reason for us being here. So we have to make do with that every day. The day that you stop adding purpose to the reason why they're gone or not here, that's the day you give up. That's the day that becomes true. If they're not here for no reason, then don't do nothing about it. But if that shouldn't have happened, you have to prove it with every fiber of your being. And again, y'all, I'm Sedan Smith. I love y'all. Peace and love, everybody.
The keynote speaker today is no stranger to any of us. His father sacrificed with blood, sweat, and tears, and was also assassinated by not just the police, but by the federal government.
Come on.
And he was a revolutionary. And because of his revolutionary mindset, he infected change all over the world. He spawned movements that we are still spawning and spinning this from today. He inspired generations to stand up and be accounted for, and to take charge of their own personal lives and their own personal freedoms and fight for what's right in their own voices. And my brother, just to give you a little bit about who he is. His son is here, Chairman Fred Hampton. Say his name. Chairman Fred Hampton. Chairman Fred Hampton. We have the honor and pleasure to have our dear brother with us today, his son. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. is the son of Fred Hampton and Deborah Johnson, known as Akua Njuri, who was 8 months pregnant when Chairman Fred Hampton was assassinated in 1969. He was named Frederick Johnson at birth, but his mother had it changed to Frederick Hampton Jr. when he was 10 years old. In the streets of Chicago, Chairman Fred Jr. organizing skills were evident as he mediated street tribes, truces, long before they became media events. His speaking and writing abilities, probably inherited from both parents, and his lineage also lended to his earned respect on the streets and attacked by vicious and various state apparatuses. An organizer, non-perennial, Chairman Fred Jr. has worked throughout North America and internationally, France, Brazil, Ireland, England, and most recently, Ghana. Leading supporting campaigns, speaking, utilizing spoken word, and educating in the demand for the freedom of political prisoners and self-determination. Creating and launching the campaign to save the Hampton House. The Black Panther Party Cubs and the people are making the childhood home of his father a museum to give the true story of the Black Panther Party and defend that legacy. That Hampton House Garden and Free the People campaign with an outdoor refrigerated, makes fresh food available in the food desert. Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. was the cultural consultant of the Oscar-winning film Judas and the Black Messiah of 2021. Thanks to all the presiding artists today. Again, This is a fundraiser, and the right on. I'm honored and humbled to be here. We got this revolutionary ritual that we do all the time. We say heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched, y'all. With a fist stand. Right on. Bow to the people.
That's right. We always the people.
Hamilton, Cole, Anderson, Gonzalez. To the county of families, we say, we get this term, we say continued Cub and community condolences. I'm the chairman of the Black Panther Party Cubs, which is the ideological offspring of the Black Panther Party. And we say continued condolences because similar, there's no statute of limitation for acts of terrorism. We refer to as police terrorism as opposed to police brutality. There's no statute of limitation for the pain our people continue to go through. Winnie Mandela talked about, like, even when a political prisoner is locked up, it's not just only the person that's doing the time, how they impacted, but the family is impacted. Yeah. We say that people's pain reflects. Let me get a couple of PSAs, people service announcements off real quick first. I want to make sure, I'm going to commit to getting some art here too. So again, as he said, as our brother just pointed out, it's a fundraiser, so make sure we make a commitment, y'all, to make sure we purchase something here. Right on?
That's right, that's right.
See you, Brother Vaughn, right on. And let me thank and respect to all the families that's here, the ones that's not physically here. Thank your soon-to-be son-in-law, who can word to me about this event, making this happen. I don't know for me, y'all, with my lineage. Again, I'm Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. I feel fortunate to have fallen from the tree of two freedom fighters. That of Chairman Fred Hampton, also of Akua and Jerry, formerly known as Deborah Johnson. Chairman Fred was the deputy chairman for the state of Illinois, the Black Panther Party. The federal government started watching him. They put surveillance on him when he was approximately 13, 14 years old, when the government acknowledged his organizing capabilities. He had took the junior NAACP from around 7 to 300 members in a 7.5-month time period. When the DC Bureau of the FBI called for a wiretap on my grandparents' telephone, they thought it was a typo. They said he couldn't be this young. At the age of 19, he became the deputy chairman of the Black Panther Party, which was a revolutionary organization. The Black Panther Party started October 15th, 1966, in Oakland, California, by Minister U.E.P. Newton and Chairman Bobby Seale. And when I'm saying these names and terms, it's not out of no ego tripping. It's the struggle to put the attacks that happen to our people in a correct political context. Because a lot of times we try to diminish it in a subjective way to say, okay, this police don't like us, or this, but the reality is, even if the pawns in the game, even the particular pigs who pull the trigger, if they don't know the dynamics of it, the reality is ain't no war on drugs, no war on guns, ain't no war on gangs. It's war on our black asses, point blank, in the raw. And it's being oppressed is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. So a lot of times we even ourselves try to euphemize it. Say somebody passed away or something. But like the Alcoholics Anonymous say, the first step in addressing the problem is recognizing we got a problem. We have to struggle to use brutal terms for brutal realities. We have to struggle to use brutal terms for brutal realities. It was some years back when Jay-Z had did a song with Kanye West, and he had referenced Chairman Fred, because the fact that Jay-Z was born the same day, same year that Chairman Fred was assassinated, December the 4th, 1969. He had references that he arrived the same day Fred Hampton died. A lot of people was tripping with us because we had raised the issue about that, to put it in this correct political context, that Chairman Fred was assassinated.
That's right, that's right.
A lot of people say, well, ain't no big thing about, you tripping about the words and schematics. Words to people's respective communities are important. As when we go with words. You see the heat that came down on her for just playing around with certain situations in Nazi Germany. Speaking of Nazi Germany, real quick, let me sidetrack. In Nazi Germany, if your child is not told about the Holocaust, what happened in the gas chambers, it's considered to be child abuse. In our communities, this system has flipped the script to make it like it's some sort of child abuse for us to talk about these atrocities. I'm glad Mama Cole acknowledged all of her family that came in from all over. Because the deal is, this pain, it transcends generational, geographical, and gender lines. It transcends geographical, gender, and generational lines. In other words, we'll look at these stats and facts and these numbers and we'll say, okay, this is how many people police done murdered. Negating the impact on our people. As Field Marshal George Jackson, the Black Panther Party, said that capitalism, this system, it not only affects the economy, but it affects the psyche of the people. It's a double hit when you hear about the you hear about not only that your family members been murdered, it's also a sense of powerlessness to hear that the police did it. Because you hear somebody keep saying, man, little James just shot such and such, you automatically feel, okay, we can go handle that business. When you hear about the police did it, the police, the occupying army, that's the term we got to recognize the police as. An occupying army of the big kahuna capitalism, the United States imperialism. Minister UEP Newton drew the correlation from the troops, the army troops in Vietnam, Philippines, Africa, to the troops in Oakland, Chicago, Detroit. And that's how we have to consistently look at this. When you say terms like the war being waged on us, we have to look at, even when we talk about donating finance, put it in the context of a war chest. Artists, Commandante Che Guevara of the Cuban Revolution said that the role of the propagandist is as important as the guerrilla. The role of the propagandist is as important as the guerrilla. What that means in plain layman terms is that in war, that when the United States was going to get out the U.S. aggression against Vietnam, they had Bob Hope had to play a role. Entertainers have to have a responsibility to support this struggle. Ain't never in this position of being neutral, like, man, it's Big Daddy got Chicago, I'm sure here too. Like they say, who you plug with? Some cats say, well, I'm neutral, I ain't number one. Ain't no neutrons in this war that's being waged on us. Ain't no neutral position. And some people come to grips with that under intense times. In fact, we say heat turns more than me black. Heat turns more than me black. What that means is Michael Jackson tell you don't make a difference if you black or white. But when that case hit down on his ass, he changed his tune. They don't care about us. People get involved in struggle, become quote unquote conscious, one of three ways: inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. Inspiration, aspiration, or desperation. And these are desperate times. A reporter asked me, well, Chairman Fred, how many members do you have within your organization? I said, well, a lot of times it depends on how many people police have murdered. And that's the reality. Some cats be on the street like, man, I don't want to hear this stuff you talking about the movement. Being when they held captive in Stateville and other concentration camps. Those are the terms I'm using. I ain't say prison. Those are my intro, my bio say out with the street tribes I talk to, not the gangs. Because the worst gang in Chicago is Chicago Police Department. The worst gang in Milwaukee is Milwaukee Police Department. And we just can't use these terms when it's politically correct. We can't wait till election time when Black History Month come around. We say black people on the verge of becoming history. We got to intertwine in our relationships, the poetry sets, the pool hall, the clubs, all that. Everything is political. When somebody get locked up, ain't no more talking about they just got locked up. They got kidnapped. Right. Now what's their bond, what's their ransom? And put this again in its correct political context. This is terrorism. Every day is September 11th for us. Every day is September 11th for us. When those flashlights come behind us, it's embarrassing. The feeling that all of us have, whether we want to admit it or not. From the top of our head to the tip of our toes. And the deal is, yeah, we out resourced, we out gunned, we out numbered. But the Sandinistas had a saying in Latin America that the will of the people is greater than the man's technology. Y'all hear me on that? Y'all with me on that? And as Malcolm X has said, even if you lay down and let this system get out on you, this is a parasitical system. You can lay down and say, Master, am I cool now? I did everything for you. This system still say, no, turn over. No, I'm still not satisfied. And if words not important, try to go Google these names some of these families has been up here. And let me just say this too, it's inspiring seeing these families come up here too. Because a lot of names I've heard about in Milwaukee, y'all in particular, the uprising, not the rioting, the uprisings. Y'all gave a whole new turn to turn up.
That's right, that's right.
And I remember when I was held captive in one place, Stateville Prison.
We call it Deathfield. And I think it was in the 90s, a guy named Timothy Thomas was killed in Cincinnati by the police. And we was on lockdown, and I remember us putting our hands on the TV screen just to feel, just to seeing the people getting engaged in uprisings. A lot of people say, okay, what you talking about the police killing us? What about us killing each other? When the Black Panther Party was in existence, the federal government itself said, I'm gonna quote the federal government, a lot of people don't believe nothing, we say the government said, or white folks said. When the Black Panther Party was in existence, there was a record low to what they call black on black crime. Record low. If you get a chance, go back and look at some of the footage when the uprising, the rebellions was happening in Milwaukee, Cleveland, Chicago. Look in the background. Look at the communalism. Look how we dealt with each other. Look at the pride. Look how we walk with our back. It's a cleansing process. Because a lot of times we told to hold the pain in and don't speak about it. And it becomes toxic. I'm gonna call her what she said, man, she's gonna be up front. She said she questioned God. A lot of people say, oh, you can't help it. Go look at old footage of Nazi Germany. They say it. They say, yeah, we question our belief. Yeah. We gotta be honest about this shit. Real talk. And a lot of times we're told, don't indict, don't call out the ones who really get it. This system. People say, man, you always blame it. Here come Chairman Fred, you always blame the government. You damn right. Everything in our community, everything that happens, how we deal with each other, the type of movies, all that. In the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, we was on the set. It was a situation where they had Chairman Fred doing the kiss scene, the kiss scene with my mother, Deborah Johnson. We was on the set. We said, okay, we'll approach this way back and a little way back. Unbeknownst to us, it was brought to my attention later on. They have a law in Hollywood. It was called a production code. It was a law never to show black people in a loving relationship. This is a law. And you wonder how that this is something we came on our own volition. We don't have relationships. It's when the response that we see when something happens to the pigs, to the police, to the pigs, that impacts how children view each other, how we view ourselves. Trickle down impact. It's a politics, it's a message sent down to 17th precinct in New York. It's a message sent to every slumlord in our community. It's a message sent down to every entity, every school, to treat black people in particular, in other colonized communities, and black people to, again, in particular, as the Rodney Dangerfields of all races. In other words, no respect. In Chicago, which is infamously referred to as Chirac, if you took those numbers of the people that have been murdered this past weekend alone and just changed it to say 50 white poodles got killed or died, it'll be a world uproar. It becomes normal to us. A revolution when everything is impacted. It was a different type of climate. James Brown had a whole totally different song playing at first. He wasn't talking about saying I'm black and I'm proud. It was H-Rap Brown. I know it's a man out you know what I mean. Drove that on Lily, said, well, you better go back to the studio with the garbage you talking about. He came back out saying I'm black and I'm proud. It was a climate where he couldn't pull that stuff he pulled in the Rocky movie with the red, white, blue drawers on Living in America. It was a climate where the devil disciples got up publicly. And so we now change our name, we know as the black disciples, due to the political education we received from Chairman Fred and the Black Panther Party. It was a climate when the FBI had told the vice lords they'd get them 16th Street on the west side that the Panther Party could open a free medical center, but Chairman Fred flipped the script of the vice lords ended up working in the free medical center. And Muhammad Ali said, I'm gonna unite the struggle going to the people. When the dog wag the tail, tail don't wag the dog. Streets make the music, music don't make the streets. They can put no entertainers up as our leadership.
That's right.
They asked Malcolm X one time in an interview, they said, well, Jackie Robinson disagrees with you about violence. Malcolm X said, wait a minute, man. We don't quote no Bob Hope or no Marilyn Monroe for you. They can play a role with the struggle. And that's involved in revolution. The whole, everybody, again, ain't no neutral, so I can't get out, get out. Pass some flyers out, do something. So again, make sure, before we get up out of here, y'all, let's make sure we aid this war chest, man. Make sure we all get something about him. By some piece of art to support it. Right on? Right. And all of our relationships have been put together in a reactionary sort of way. In other words, we cannot be this system that's the same system that kidnapped us and separated us and brought us back together. Ain't no gift wrap revolution. Ain't no perfect allies. So don't come in with no romanticism like, oh, we're gonna all come together, our fist up, we're gonna all support you, we're gonna have some differences. And it's gonna be some cleansing processes we gotta go through. We gotta acknowledge that. Remember, also Chairman Fred said, revolution is a scientific art that must be perfected. We got to up the ante. The way we done the movie Judas and Black Messiah, and up the ante. Even to the fact in the Billie Holiday movie, they had to acknowledge the FBI in there. Before that, I was getting these Tyler Perry movies. In other words, just talk about situations like in a bubble. We just talk about how families come together. You cannot talk about our situation without talking about the role of the police. So the Panther Party brought the pus up out of the sword, forced them to get them to come out in their uniforms. They cut all the lights up on the west side of Chicago. Poor people outside their homes. They had a floor plan so detailed they even knew what pack of cigarettes might be inside the house. They blocked the front and the back doors off and let the record reflect that with Negro pigs along with it. Let the record reflect. That with Negro, Gloves Davis was what major one. You had Howard and another one that came in, hit the door, shot and assassinated 22-year-old defense captain Mark Clark. The shells coming through the mattress. My mother to be 8.5 months pregnant, just turned 19. Felt the shells coming through the mattress. She covered, that wasn't just in the movie, that's real talk. She covered down with her comrade over the chair.
Come on.
When they pulled out the room with his bathrobe on, with his slippers on, Chicago police put a revolver to her stomach. That wasn't for no theatrics. That really happened. When I talk about it, I said the first piece of steel I ever came into contact with, as opposed to Dr. Stethoscope, was Chicago Police Department's revolver. This December the 4th, 1969. Yes, sir. That would be ideal if we say, man, that's how bad things was, let's keep moving forward. This system ain't forgotten. And when non-penitentiary, they got me and my father, Chairman Fred, picture in the gun tower right now. He called a picture either one of us to give me 6 months added to your time, right now. Chairman Fred is buried in Haynesville, Louisiana. Law enforcement go shoot his tombstone every year like clockwork. Right now. Chicago police training, they study footage of the Black Panther Party. They don't forget. We can't forget. Free them all, power to the people.